today I'm finally out here on this 2025 Yamaha R9. I've been waiting to ride this thing on the street ever since I did the press launch earlier this year, and finally I'm here. Now guys, I've never ridden this thing on the street, and today I'm finally getting to. You guys stick around, I'll give it a chase score at the end of the video. I'm Chase on Two Wheels, and we finally get a first ride. Not bad, says me. It could sound better with maybe a Yoshimura exhaust. Who even knows? You know what sounds good right out of the box, though? A Cardo Pack Talk Edge discount code right over there. Talk to your buddies, listen to cool music, do all the things. Goodbye. So guys, that's what it looks like, and that is what it sounds like. Now, before we get on this thing, we got to thank the sponsor of this video, which is the company that makes the best visual safety device for motorcyclists, and that is Brake Free. So guys, this video is sponsored by Brake Free, and if you've never heard of these guys, they make easily the best device made to help people see you on the road. This is a Brake Free, and all it is a unit with a battery, LED lights, and an accelerometer. What it does is, instead of your motorcycle being the only thing showing people that you're slowing down if you use the brakes, the Brake Free's accelerometer is feeling for you to slow down. That's either engine braking or braking, because if you're engine braking, obviously your tail light's not going to light up. This will. So when you start slowing down, you see that? It blinks, alerting the car or the motorcycle behind you that you are slowing down. Obviously, you can hit the top button and you can just cycle through the modes of how it kind of stays on. And then when it notices movement, boom, it lets the drivers behind you know. You can charge it by USB-C. This thing lasts forever. Easily a 2-week charge at full charge the way I use it. To mount it on the back of your helmet, you have this little opening here, and there on the back of my helmet, you can see this little kind of 3M attachment, and you find the slot and you click it in, and now it's going. Boom. There you go. See, I slowed down. This thing is easily the most safest device you can get for helping other drivers and riders see you. And if you guys want a discount, you can check it out right there or use the link in the description down below. Brake Free, thank you for sponsoring this video, and way more importantly, helping me stay sane. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching the ad. You guys have no idea how helpful that is for the channel, because YouTube doesn't pay shit. Anyway, it allows us to make these awesome videos for y'all, so thank you, Brake Free, for sponsoring the show. Guys, we finally have the R9. Rode it at the press launch months and months and months ago. Here we are, and it is all thanks to a fan whose name is Jacob. Jacob drove his R9 all the way from Alabama to let me borrow it so I could do this first ride for you guys, and so we could do a special exhaust video that we're going to do, so subscribe for that. But you guys, let Jacob know you appreciate this in the comments down below. I don't do fan bikes very often, but this was a bike, like, Yamaha's having a hard time getting a loaner because apparently Yamaha is prioritizing purchases, which is great. I think they should do that. But it does suck for the loaner end because we can't get them here on the East Coast right now. Anyway, we got it here. This is going to be great. We're going to get the bike turned on. Now, guys, if y'all go watch my press launch video of this bike, I'll have the links in the description down below. It was fully on the track. So if you guys are looking into the R9 for a track bike, that would probably be a better video to see. What I'm going to be talking about today is taking the R9 out on the city streets to see how it is as a city bike. Let's get it cranked up here. And if you guys see at the bottom of this menu, you can see we're in rain mode, and you can see what the power, traction control, slide control, lift control, engine brake management. You can see what all that's at. We have the mode button here. If we press it, we have street or rain, street. We have sport, and then we have a custom 2 and a custom 1. Now, I'm going to go through all these modes, and the only time I'm going into custom 1 is when I do the 40 to 80 pull for you guys, because as you can see, it has all of the aids at its lowest setting. So that's definitely what we're going to be doing. Now guys, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I can just flat foot with slightly bent legs. The only thing I'll note is this cover here, my leg has to rub up against it, and if I'm not touching that cover, my leg feels like it's in a weird spot. So that's the only kind of weirdness, but as a 5'10", 32-inch inseam guy, you know, I've got slightly bent legs. I'm okay. If you're a shorter rider, you're definitely going to be tippy-toeing, but it's not as bad as some other super sports. So that's just stuff to keep in mind. And with all that being said, guys, we are in rain mode again, and let's get this first ride started. Also, if you guys are big fans of the First Ride Show or any of the content we make here, we don't trust YouTube to let you guys know when we go live. So we have a On2 Crew newsletter that you guys can join. We only email you once a week. So by all means, join that, and we'll let you know when videos go live. Also, we'll let you know all the secrets going on around the channel. On your mark, get set, going in rain mode. Oh man, we are finally here for the R9 first ride. Guys, I've been waiting so long to do this video. You have no idea how excited I am to get this motorcycle on the actual streets and see how it is, because this is really where they built this bike. You know what I mean? That's the area that they focused on to make this bike good. So I'm fascinated to see how it is. Man, rain mode is surprisingly punchy engine braking wise. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right, guys, let's talk about body position here on the road. So it is a R-Class motorcycle. You are going to be in an aggressive position. As you guys can see from our camera car, my legs are very racy, very perched up, and my upper half is definitely leaned over. But I've ridden other sport bikes that are way more leaned over than this. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very aggressive, I would say the upper half of your body is going to be in a kind of 8.5 to 9. It's definitely not the most sporty it could possibly be. So just keep that in mind. Overall, very sporty position. From my time on the track with this bike, it is a phenomenal body position for track use and getting side to side on the bike. And here in the city, I think it's going to be about what you would expect. Very perched up legs, so when we get to a red light, you're going to have to be getting them off your pegs. So stoplight to stoplight, it's not going to be that big of a help. It's not going to be a great city bike or anything like that. But it's a sport bike, so it's not really what it's meant for. So we get here to the red light, and then getting our legs perched off of the pegs and down. Easy enough to do, and not a problem. I think we talked about the seat, but the seat is actually pretty comfortable. It's like on the slightly harder side, but no issues here. We are at our red light, so we can hit the mode button, and we can go to street. Welcome street mode. I'm surprised at how powerful rain mode was, and specifically the engine braking. Not necessarily a power delivery, but the engine braking was really strong in rain mode, which is odd, because in rain mode you have less traction. You would think you'd want less engine braking, but whatever. Let's see if the themes... Let's do this theme. Does it say what it's in? It does not, and we're getting a green. Oh no, I don't have time. Oh well, we'll mess with it later, if we have time. We had a cop up here and he pulled off. I am so thankful of that. I just don't even like being in the aura of a cop, dude. I like, not that I'm doing anything wrong, but like, you know, I mean, motorcyclists, we know. Love you cops. So sorry, but I just, you know, motorcyclist cops, they never go together. All right, guys, let's talk about what's powering the Yamaha R9 here, and it's going to be a familiar power plant. It's the 890cc triple CP3. Very similar engine, or the same engine that's in the MT-09. It is just tuned differently for the R9. It's good for around 116 horsepower, 69 foot-pounds of torque. The bike comes in at a wet weight of 430 pounds, I believe, and we have a 3.7 gallon gas tank. Those are your specs. You're welcome. Honestly, the engine braking seems like it's chilled out in street mode. That's very interesting. I would have thought they'd be opposite. So guys, let's talk about the R9 in a city setting, because this is kind of the shortcoming for this bike, but also where Yamaha's kind of focused this bike to ride. So this bike is not replacing any motorcycles, right? We are all acknowledging that the R9 is not a R6 replacement, and R9 is an R9, and it's an R9. That's it. But what I think Yamaha's doing with this motorcycle is they want to give us all of our sport bike needs, right? The cool aerodynamic fairings and the leaned over body position and the real exhilarating ride, but make it a little better for street use, because there are Lexuses that have a hard time staying in their lane. Typically, sport bikes just don't do really well on the road because they're made to be in a track with no traffic, and you can go as fast as you're able to handle, and you can rev the bike out just to the moon. But that's not realistic, and that's not where you do most of your riding. I mean, unless your motorcycle is a track-only motorcycle, which in that case, you know, power to you. Get yourself a track bike and do your thing. But the R9 is Yamaha's attempt at giving us both things, like the best of both worlds. There are limitations to being able to do that. To have a motorcycle that's very aggressive oriented and, you know, R-inspired, you're going to have this leaned over body position, which is not great for city riding. City riding's fantastic for that upright body position with a handlebars. You have way more control over the motorcycle. Obviously, they can't do that on the R9. What they are able to do, though, is give you a very light motorcycle that doesn't take a lot of energy to go side to side in the lane. And obviously, with the clip-ons, you can only have so much kind of maneuverability, right? Because you're leaned over and everything. But in my experience, the bike is very easy to change positions and get going in that position very quickly. That's on the track and on these lower speed, like, city areas. So it's really just the body position that kind of compromises you. The bike changes direction incredibly well. It's very impressive. Now, on the street power setting, this is somewhere where they've also kind of decided to go with a triple instead of something like an inline 4 like the R6 and is the R1? And yeah, R1's 4-cylinder, because it's CP4. With that triple, it gives you more punch off the get-go, but from what I'm experiencing, it's still not like parallel twin power. We're just gonna go. Can we go? We're just gonna go. Nobody look. So the triple gives you two things. It gives you better power down low, but from what I'm noticing with the R9, even in street mode, and you know what, I'll go ahead and change it to the next mode, because I want to see, if we're in sport mode, how much power do we have down low? The one thing I'm kind of finding myself wanting with this bike right now, riding in the city, is I want a little more power down low, because there's a lot of times where somebody will cut you off or you need to jump a gap or something like that, and it would be nice to have really punchy quick power. And as you guys just saw, I'm in sport mode, and giving it that throttle, it still took a minute to wind up. I kind of wish I had a little more, just an ounce more power down low, and that was in first gear, going 30 or 40. So that's kind of what I mean. I already know that revving this bike out and getting the revs high, the bike is phenomenal. I tested that in the track. If you guys want to see that, obviously we have the track press launch that I did. I loved the power up top like that, but in a city, you just need that quick instant power, and at city speeds, you're not high enough in the RPMs to really have that power. I mean, once you get going 40, I mean, you know, you've got it. It's there. It's just that first gear. I kind of just wish maybe it's more torque that I want. 69 foot-pounds of torque. I'm not sure where that torque peaks out, but that would be the only thing I kind of want out of this bike to just make it that much better as a city bike. Now, I know normally I would leave this in sport mode and we would do the highway, but Yamaha's got a lot of modes on this thing. We've got Rain, Street, and Sport, and then we have two other modes. We have Custom 2 and Custom 1. Now, Custom 1, the owner of this motorcycle, has told me he has that set up to be that's the mode that you're going quick sauce in that mode. Let's go to the theme. Yeah, this is the one that you can see the mode. So at the bottom, you'll see Custom 1, power's at 1, traction control, everything's at 1. 1 meaning the least electronic intervention is what, that's what Yamaha's stuff is. So the lower the number, the less intervention you have. We are on the best setting to get the best 40 to 80 time. I'm a little terrified. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I have not done a pull like this on this bike yet. I didn't do it at the track, I didn't do it here. So, whew, a deep breath, sit back on the bike, and let's see what a 40 to 80 time looks like on this thing. I feel like this is gonna happen rather fast. On your marks. Shit, get set. Hold on. All right, here we go. Go. Shit! Woo! That's 80. God, almighty damn. All right. I messed up the very top of that. We were at like 72 at the top of first. I should have shifted a little sooner. So I know for a fact I can get a better time than that, but that was impressive. Wow, that was great. Alrighty. So highway entrances. So highway, oh, what was the time? Sorry, what was the time? The R9 has no problem getting on the highway. Let's just say that. Alright, so we're here on the highway, guys. I know a lot of you guys on social media love getting your super sports and riding on the highway, so let's talk about the R9 on the highway. First off, wind is hitting me right about at the high chest level and on the shoulders. Let me get past this bump and I'll tuck in and we'll see. Yep. Getting in a tucked in position, fantastic. My body fits into that tuck really well and all the wind is just flying over me. Something else I'm noticing right now is, guys, there is little to no vibration going on. This bike is just incredibly comfortable sitting at the highway right now. Also, Yamaha, I love you. You know why? Because with that button and that button, what is it? That button and then set. Ta-da! Cruise control on a sport bike. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I'm going to take this moment to have a slight rant, if you will, after I disengage cruise control by going forward. Okay, that worked. I've seen comments and the ZX10s, the CBR 1000s, the whatevers. I see comments about you guys telling me, well, if it's a super sport, it's a super bike, and if it's a 600, it's a super sport. Guys, we can all just chill the hell out on the terminology.
Stop it. Get some help.
A sport bike is a super sport, is a super bike. They're all the same thing, my guy. Let's all just calm down with the hyper-specific verbiage, okay? I don't think it's necessary. It's a sport-focused, high-horsepower motorcycle. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I digress. Cruise control is awesome to have on the R9. It's obviously tracking incredibly well. This bike is locked in a position, and you put some speed behind this thing and it's glorious. You start going side to side on it, you start really realizing that 430 pound weight. It's incredible what this motorcycle can do and how it feels once it gets some speed behind it. I don't think the reasoning behind that is the winglets. The winglets are just kind of there. They offer a specific amount of downforce or whatever, but I don't think it's going to be noticeable. All right, well, here, let's do this. Let's input the footage of Chase riding on the track on the R9, not going 30 miles an hour around a turn. Because this bike is supremely capable of going about 100 around this turn without being sketchy. So, guys, I know that the first ride route doesn't have a ton of twisty turns and stuff like that, but what I can tell you is the adjustable KYB suspension on this bike is phenomenal. The engine's great, but I think after the tracks experience, one of the highlights of this motorcycle, for me at least, was the chassis, the suspension, and the brakes. They offer this perfect combination of just really precise handling motorcycle. So yeah, you're not going to see a lot of that on this first ride, but you know, the press launch was entirely on the track. So you guys can go check that out if you'd like. We'll have a link in the description for that video. You can go check it out and see what this bike's capable of on the track in an average dude's hands. I am by no means a fast boy. I just enjoy riding spiritedly sometimes. Let's see if we can get out of all this. God, I love how easy this thing can just transition to changing direction. It's so effortless, and on super sports or sport bikes or super bikes, who knows? On bikes like this, it's normally so hard. It feels super planted, especially at higher speeds. When you're going those lower speeds, it takes a lot. The R9 has somehow figured out a way to not do that, so the props to Yamaha for that. I don't know if it's a mix of the wheelbase, the suspension, or the weight, whatever. They've done a phenomenal job. So to finish up talking about the engine here, guys, I think I'll note that my main takeaways are I would really like to have a little more torque down low, especially with the R9 being the city super sport. I just wish I had a little more torque, and for whatever reason, second gear in the CP3 is just a strange gear. Yamaha does not have all the power there, and it feels a little sluggish, especially down low. From what I've researched, you can tune that out with no problem. It's something they did for the EPA regulations or something. So the R9, definitely a motorcycle that I would recommend you getting a tune on. So maybe, you know, pop an exhaust on it and get a tune, and I think it would really open this bike up. Side note, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are going to be putting an exhaust on this motorcycle coming up soon. So let's talk about something that Yamaha has damn near perfected in the R9, and that is the quick shifter. This is Yamaha's latest quick shifter that they're putting in the R9, and I have to say, the mix of the feedback from the bike when I shift, the amount of push it takes, the way it feels when it drops power to go into the thing, everything is exactly what I want out of a quick shifter. I honestly feel like Yamaha have perfected the quick shifter with the R9. This is Yamaha's, like, I think second or third generation quick shifter, and my goodness gracious, every other motorcycle brand, this is what I personally want out of a quick shifter. Yamaha's done a phenomenal job. There's very little power cut to shift. There's very little disturbance going into the next gear. It is absolutely chef's kiss. They nailed it. Now, speaking of another thing they nailed, the brakes. Not only the brakes, but the steel braided lines and the Brembo master cylinder. By the way, they are Brembo Stylemas. So you can stop quickly. You can stop very fast. Not only can you stop very fast, because like stopping fast is cool. We all want to do that. But more importantly, we want to stop very fast and have control of the motorcycle. So the Brembo brakes stop you quickly, but that steel braided line going into the master cylinder allows you to have fantastic feel over what you're doing. You're not just getting heavy braking. You're getting smooth, heavy braking that you can feel what's going on down there. And guys, that is night and day. I have never been so confident on a motorcycle as I am on the R9. For whatever reason, for whatever combination of features that they've put on this thing, it is an incredibly confidence-inspiring motorcycle in my experience. All right, let's talk about the controls. We got some new stuff going on here, and guys, we are finally in an era where Yamaha doesn't make screens. Sorry, Yamaha, I love your motorcycles, but your screens have been garbage for quite a while. We are finally getting past that era, and I am so happy. That's been the weak point of Yamaha for a while. Anyway, we got our triple tree here, little cutouts, a little save weight situation. Down with that, we have a big button, a big starter switch on the right side with a mode button right under it. I am okay with that mode button there because my thumb can get to it without letting go of the throttle. Love that. On the left side, it looks a little complicated at first look, but I love the left area. We got cruise control. We've got our speed limiter, which is the same button, the setting and all that kind of stuff. We have our D-pad, the directional pad, a home button. We also have the new turn signals, which I'm not a big fan of. My hand keeps wanting to go to the home button and not the turn signal button, so I kind of wish we would go back to the old school turn signal stuff, but I'm sure that's there for a reason. The turn signals will auto cancel, which is really nice. And then if you look all the way down there, I can't really show you where I'm going, but there is a hazard button and the horn. I would have a hard time finding the horn. I don't find myself using the horn that often, but if you're one of those guys that honks at people, it's gonna take a minute to get yourself to the point where you can find that horn easily. Next up, let's hit on mirrors real quick. I think they look very flush with the motorcycle. I like that. I love that they have the integrated turn signals. That's cool. They work okay. To see something right behind me, I'm definitely gonna be moving my arm over so I can see behind me. But I mean, it's a Super Sport. I kind of expect that. That's not really that big of a deal. Finally, the screen, 5-inch TFT display. Everything works good. You get the 3 rider modes, you get the 2 customizable modes, and then I think you get like 3 or 4 different track modes that you can customize. So loads of customization there. And one of the things that I think is really neat as a visual guy is if I hit the home button and I just get the bike stopped, because it does lock you out if it's not stopped, you can go into themes and you have 4 themes plus a track theme. We'll put it on theme 1. So that way you can just customize what you want your screen to look like. The screen is solid. The quality is there on the screen. My only kind of nitpick with the screen is there's so much black area around, it kind of makes it look like the screen is really tiny. I feel like the screen's an okay size, but with so much of this border being blacked out, like I know you got to have some room for the lights and stuff, but I feel like there's just too much border. I'm not really a big fan of that. And also, I haven't had a problem looking at the screen, but there's something about the screen being directionally where it is. I want it to be angled back some and more up at the rider. I'm sure, I mean, Yamaha is full of really, wow, that car's going, wow, interesting. Yamaha has incredible designers. I'm sure that's designed to be in that direction so that it doesn't reflect the sky or something like that. But it just seems kind of weird that it's angled away from me. You know what I mean? So that's a little weird. That being said, as you guys can see, we have no cloud above us and I can see the screen totally fine. We are on the white setting, but at night it will change into a dark mode, so it can also change. All right, my friends, that has been a lot. I'm gonna take a quick breath while we go over the chase score for the R9.
All right, so guys, let's give this 2025 Yamaha R9 its chase score. For throttle response, I'm gonna give this thing an 8. That CP3 triple delivers punchy power, even in rain mode, with responsive engine braking. I'm only knocking those couple points because I kind of wanted more torque down low. For agility, I'm giving this thing an 8 as well. Its 430-pound weight and balanced chassis make it easy to flick side to side for a sport bike. Next up, we have brakes, and I have to give this thing a 9. One, because it's got Brembo styling as the top of the class, but even more than that, with the steel braided lines and the Brembo master cylinder, it is an entire brake package and basically everything you could ever want. Next up, for acceleration, I'm going to give it an 8. With that 116 horsepower and 69 foot-pounds of torque, it gives a thrilling pull while still manageable for street riding. For suspension, I'm going to give it a 7. It's got a fantastic KYB setup and it's adjustable. It's a little hard for street use, but fantastic on the track. Next up, we have comfort and look. It's still an R-style motorcycle, so I'm giving it a 6, and honestly, for a sport bike, that's not bad at all. Next up, for tech, I'm giving this thing an 8. The R9 has literally every piece of tech inside of it you could really want. The only thing it's missing is like electronic suspension or something like that, but the tech is fantastic. Next up, we have ease of use, and I'm going to give this thing a 7. There's a lot of menu stuff to go through, but I think Yamaha has done a really good job of giving you controls that are easily understood and lets you navigate stuff the way you would think you need to. The only thing I don't like about the ease of use is the numbering system Yamaha uses for how much intervention there is. I really wish it was just most ABS, least ABS, if that makes sense. Next up, we got versatility. I'm gonna give the bike a 6. It excels at sporty street riding and occasional track days, but it's not really ideal for long commutes. And finally, we have fun for the money, and I'm giving it an 8. It delivers a strong value by blending that track DNA with the real-world street usability, and I think it comes in at a really good price for that. That's going to give a total ride score of 40, a total usability score of a 35, for a total chase score of 75.
Alrighty guys, that's the chase score on the R9. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comments down below. Alright, so the question is, did Yamaha make a road-focused sport bike? Honestly, I think they did. I know that it's such a hard move giving people everything on a sport bike that makes it street worthy, but I think Yamaha did a fantastic job. My only kind of critique on this motorcycle is I want a little more torque down low, and that's honestly it. Yamaha's done everything else I can ask for. I can't ask for more than a phenomenal suspension, a super light frame, a amazing system of braking, you know, not just the brakes themselves, but the steel braided lines and the lever. This bike does everything. After riding it on the track, it's obviously far more track focused. All in all though, I think somebody getting this and riding it around town is gonna have a much better time than something like, you know, classic super sport like an R6 or an R1. You can tell this has small little details that they've very intentionally put in it to make it good on the street. And I think they've done the absolute best job that a company possibly can. Also, shout out to Jacob for loaning us this motorcycle. And no, guys, don't email me about your motorcycle and you want me to do a first ride on it. We're not doing this normally. I'm just making a slight change of my normal way to do this bike. It's a very special bike. You guys have been asking for it relentlessly. So I wanted to get this out to you, and that's the only reason we're doing that. Normally we would not do that. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, share this video out with somebody that you think would enjoy the R9, which is a lot of people, and subscribe to the channel if you like motorcycle content. Chase on two wheels. I'll see you on the next one. Break Free, thank you for sponsoring this video and keeping me safe. I really appreciate you. I feel very naked and dangerous when I don't have you on my helmet.